Hello, students. Good morning, all of you. Today, I, Ravindra Mohan Misra, from Sri Jagdamba Sanskrit College, Batho, am taking the class of Shastri first. We have learnt the critical appreciation of poem Virtue. Today, we see George Herbert, a religious poet. We have seen explanation from the poem Virtue also. That is why it is a very important question to learn. We see today this. George Herbert was one of the greatest poets of the 17th century. Herbert was also one of the greatest devotional poets in the English language and one of a group that Samuel Johnson identified as the metaphysical poets. Yet his poems almost died with him in 1633, and it was only thanks to his friends' sound judgment that they saw the light of day. Herbert was one of the greatest religious poets of any age. He is considered as a religious poet because of the subject matter of his poetry, which is fully devotional and religious in nature. By his poetry, he completely surrenders himself to God and his master Jesus. Although he was associated with the metaphysical group, he was exceptional for his treatment towards religion in his poetry. For his devotion to God, he is known as the saint of the metaphysical group, and his religious thought afterward influenced other metaphysical poets. However, his devotion to God reflects in his poems, and we find a great touch of religion in almost all his poems. He was a churchman of the Anglican Church, and his religious faith had grown and developed in his church. He was influenced by it right from his childhood under the benign guidance of his pious mother and seasoned family chaplains. And long after his completion of his university graduation, he was ordained and placed over the little church of Bemerton. Harvard's mind was modeled by religion and by the Anglican Church. As he was brought up in religious atmosphere and his religious faith is shaped by his pious mother, we see that his poems are the representations of his sacred mind and thought. His poems are nothing but the true expression of love towards God and Jesus. As Rose Macaulay says, Harvard is, in a sense, the first of the Anglican poets, the first Anglican poet, that is, whose whole expression and art was colored by and confined within the walls of his church. Harvard finds and gets satisfaction writing religious poems. Even the two sonnets that he sent to his mother when he was only 70 years old are the symbol of that kind of poet he wanted to be. In his after years, he writes divine poems and sees beauty only in God. He is all for God, his King, whose praise he will sing in a plain, homely language. Even just before his death, he gave a manuscript to one of his friends, and the message that he gave is worthy. He said, "Deliver this little book to my dear brother Ferrer, and tell him he shall find in it a picture of many spiritual conflicts that have passed betwixt God and by my soul before I could subject mine to the will of Jesus, my mother, my master, in whose service I have now found perfect freedom." However, Herbert is called the devotional poet because he leads with such subjects. The theme of most of his poems is religion. He deals with the soul, God, life after death, and relation between human spirits and senses, and so on. He talks of man's relation to God, of body to the soul, of the life here and to the life hereafter. In this relation, he often shows rebellion, reconciliation, and the final submission. Herbert's poems have been characterized by a deep religious devotion, linguistic precision, metrical agility, and ingenious use of conceit. Samuel Taylor Coleridge wrote of Herbert's diction that nothing can be more pure, manly, or unaffected, and he is ranked with Donne as one of the great metaphysical poets. Moreover, his poetry is a sequence of religious poems. His motive is always to make the divine seem original, the secular imitation. He sees the things of daily life in direct relation to a supernatural order. Heavenly truths are indeed what he looks for in all his poems. There are many poems in which Herbert devotedly offers his homage to God or Christ and makes surrender of himself to the Almighty. These are poems of untroubled faith in which the tone is thoroughly one of affirmation. Easter Wings is one of such poems. The theme of his poems is that paradise was lost through Adam's sin but was regained by Christ's sacrifice. The underlying idea is that the fall of man is the essential basis of his rise, or in other words, if there is no fall, there can be no flight. His another poem, The Altar, shows his devotion to God and urges to take his broken heart into his own from his own satisfaction. There are some other poems like Discipline, Affliction, Prayer, etc., in which Herbert shows his extraordinary love towards God. He praises God in many a style in many of his poems. As for example, The Temple is a collection of 169 religious poems, out of which 140 have been composed in different patterns of stanza, and out of which 160 patterns have been used for only single time. It appears that Herbert wanted to imply his skill in God's praise in as much different forms as possible. John Donne established what has become known as the metaphysical style of poetry, which was taken up by later by Herbert and others. Herbert wrote much of his poetry during his Cambridge years. He began auspiciously enough with a vow made in a letter accompanying two sonnets sent to his mother as a New Year's gift in 1610. The sonnets are written at a high pitch of enthusiasm. Herbert earns to be a fiery martyr, burning with love of God, not woman. Herbert was not alone in wanting to redirect poetry from Venus to God, but these two sonnets have the force of personal discovery behind them, and they are a preview of cluster of later poems in the temple that examine his willingness and ability to write religious verse. As in so many of his best poems, exuberance betrayed a deep sense of disorder and nervousness. It is difficult to date most of Herbert's poems with certainty, but it is clear that not all his early poetic efforts were the kind of impassioned sacred lyrics promised by the sonnets he sent to his mother. Herbert, like his contemporaries, viewed and used poetry as a medium of social discourse, not just self analysis and devotion. And even the bulk of Herbert's early religious poetry is public and didactic rather than introspective and meditative. His modern reputation rests almost exclusively on the devotional lyrics collected in the church, the mild selection of the temple, and while some of these lyrics may have been written as early as 1617, there is good reason to believe that most of them date from much later, from the mid 1620s to the last year of his life at Bemerton. But the church is carefully positioned